Morning all of you. Today we are going to discuss about gymnosperms, their various characteristics and their life cycle. Okay, let's start. Gymnosperms. You know that gymnosperms are included under your phanerogams. Both angiosperms as well as gymnosperms are included under phanerogams. Gymnosperms are the naked seeded plants. Here these are the seed bearing plants without ovary. That means seeds are not enclosed here within the ovary. So these are called naked seeded plants. Here the ovules are born unprotected on the surface of megasporophylls. You know the ovules further develop to form your seeds. So the ovules are born unprotected on the surface of the megasporophylls, and they are not enclosed within the ovary. So this is why these are called naked seeded plants. Gymnosperms actually originated during the Paleozoic era and they became dominant in the Jurassic and Cretaceous period in Mesozoic era. As far as their general characters are concerned, we can discuss it in details after looking at these pictures. As you can see here, these are some of the pictures of gymnosperms. This is the Pinus, the previous one was Cycas. Okay. Now, gymnosperms, the living gymnosperms, that is the gymnosperms which are living now, they are evergreen trees or shrubs with xerophytic adaptations. Okay. Some assume huge size like Sequoia sempervirens. Then here plant body is a sporophyte, just like your pteridophytes. Here also the plant body is a sporophyte and it is diploid in nature. This sporophyte, that is the plant body, can be monoecious, that is bisexual, or can be dioecious, that is separate male and female plants are present. Monoecious species include Pinus and dioecious species include Cycas. There is presence of a well developed root system and the roots show symbiotic association, okay, with algae in case of your corallid root of Cycas and symbiotic associationship with fungi in case of mycorrhizal root of Pinus. Okay. So symbiotic association is found in case of roots, okay, with algae in case of your Cycas and with fungi in case of your Pinus. Leaves that are found in gymnosperms are dimorphic in nature, that is they are of two types. What are those? One is scale leaves, another one is foliage leaves. The scale leaves are your minute membranous, whereas the foliage leaves are green simple pinnately compound leaves. Okay. In case of your Cycas, whereas it is needle like leaves in case of your Pinus. So basically two types of leaves, one is scale leaves, another one is foliage leaves. The scale leaves are minute, membranous and deciduous, whereas foliage leaves are green simple and pinnately compound or pinnately compound. Leaves with thick cuticle and sunken stomata, these are characteristic of xerophytic characteristics. Okay. So leaves with, they have got thick cuticle and sunken stomata. Then xylems, as these are vascular, your phanerogams, these contain xylems and phloems, but the xylem have tracheids and parenchyma, there is absence of vessels just like the pteridophytes, whereas phloems are with seed tubes and parenchyma, there is no companion cell, just similar to those parents, your pteridophytes. Only exception is in case of nettles. There is in case of nettles, it is a type of gymnosperm, it is a kind of gymnosperm where vessels are also found. Okay. Now, there is absence of flower, remember it, there is absence of flower in case of gymnosperm, but presence of seeds. Where the seeds are present? The seeds are present on the inner side of leaves, which are called as sporophylls, that is the leaves bearing the seeds are called sporophylls. These are heterosporous with microspores born in microsporangia and megaspores born in megasporangia. Okay. And both microsporangia and megasporangia, they are born in microsporophyll and megasporophyll respectively. Then the sporophylls, you know what are sporophylls? The sporophylls are the leaves bearing the your sporangia. Now the sporophylls, they aggregate to form cones. I will show you the picture. The sporophylls, they aggregate to form cones. Your male cones are formed by the aggregation of microsporophyll, whereas female cones are formed by the aggregation of megasporophyll. That means microsporophylls bear microsporangia and the megasporophyll bears megasporangia. And these microsporophylls aggregate to form the male cones, and the megasporophylls aggregate to form female cones. As you can see in this picture, this one is the a picture of microsporophyll. Okay, the microsporophylls, they aggregate to form male cone. Got it? Now the second picture is, the second one is, female cones are long lived than the male cones. Okay, the female cones, they are long lived than the male cones. The cones are unisexual. That means they either bear microsporangia or megasporangia. The megasporangia is naked, that is not enclosed within ovary wall. That is very well known to you. Ovary wall is absent, so megasporangium is naked. Megasporangium is surrounded by an integument, hence it is known as ovule. Okay. Now this ovule is unitegmic, that means presence of a single integument. Okay. Now gametophytic generation is very much reduced, and both male and female gametophytes are dependent on sporophyte. Okay. Plant body is sporophyte and diploid and well developed, whereas gametophyte generation is reduced and both the male and female gametophytes are dependent on sporophyte. You can see here, this is the megasporophyll. Okay, they combine to form, they aggregate to form what? Female cone. This is a diagram of picture of megasporophyll. You can see it in an enlarged way, megasporophyll. Got it? Now microspores are the first cell of male gametophyte. Microspores are formed within the microsporangia, and microsporangia are present on microsporophyll. Microsporophylls combine to form or aggregate to form male cone. So microspores are the first cell of the male gametophyte. Okay. Microspores, or you can say pollen grains, they develop to form male gametophyte while still inside the microsporangium. So inside the microsporangium, microspores are formed. These develop to form male gametophyte when still inside the microsporangium. Microspores are liberated at various stages of development of male gametophyte, that is at 3-cell stage in case of cycas, at 4-cell stage in case of pinus, etc. So when the male gametophyte is at 3-cell stage, the microspores may be liberated in case of cycas, and when it is in a 4-cell stage, it is liberated in case of pinus. Okay. A fully developed male gametophyte has a prothalial cell, a stalk cell, tube nucleus, and 2 male gametes. And remember it, antheridia are absent. So a fully developed male gametophyte has a prothalial cell, a stalk cell, a tube nucleus, and 2 male gametes, and antheridia are totally absent. Inside the nucellus, in the ovule, megaspore mother cell divides by meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores. Okay. So you know that what is ovule? The ovule is nothing but your as you have learnt in the previous slides, in the previous slides I have shown it that the megasporangium is, as it is surrounded by an integument, it is known as ovule. Okay, megasporangium is the ovule. So in the ovule there is presence of nucellus. There is presence of nucellus in case of your ovule. Now inside the nucellus in the ovule, megaspore mother cell divides by meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspore. The megaspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspore. Where does it occur? It occurs inside the ovule. Now 3 of these megaspores degenerate and the one at the lower end remain functional to form female gametophyte. So inside the ovule, the megaspore mother cell undergoes reduction division, that is meiosis, to form 4 haploid megaspores, out of which 3 degenerate and the remaining one towards the lower end gives rise to or functions to form female gametophyte, okay, which actually functions as endosperm. So here endosperm is haploid in nature. In many of the examinations, questions are asked regarding the endosperm, ploidy of endosperm in case of gymnosperm. Remember, the gymnosperm endosperm is haploid in nature. It is the female gametophyte which actually functions as the endosperm. In gymnosperms, endosperm is formed before fertilization, okay, but when you will study about angiosperms, the endosperm is formed after fertilization, okay, and there the endosperm is triploid in nature, but here the endosperm is haploid in nature. At micropylar end of the female gametophyte, that is at the upper end, apical end, the archegonia are formed with egg and venter canal cell and without neck canal cells. Here archegonia are found. Where they are located? They are located at the micropylar end of the female gametophyte. Micropylar end means the upper end, lower part is chalazal end. So micropylar end archegonia are present, and these archegonia are without your neck canal cells. Then what are the structures that are found inside the archegonia? They are with egg and venter canal cells. Got it? Now gymnosperms, remember that they are wind pollinated. So after pollination, 4 to 5 months after pollination, the fertilization starts. What is fertilization? That is the union of male and female gamete. So pollen grain deposited on pollen chamber of ovule, it germinates. Okay, the pollen grains which have fallen on the pollen chamber of ovule, they germinate to form pollen tube, which releases male gametes into archegonium. Okay, this releases the male gamete into the archegonium. So from the your pollen grain, male gametes are released into the archegonium. These this male gamete fuses with the egg to form a zygote, which is diploid in nature, which later forms the embryo. So we can say that after pollination, the pollen grains they remain there for 4 to 5 months in the pollen chamber, then the fertilization begins. So pollen grain germinate to form a pollen tube, through which the male gametes are released into the archegonium. Now male gamete fuses with egg to form zygote, and the zygote ultimately gives rise to the embryo. Okay, remember it. The embryo development is meroblastic in nature, that is it develops from a part of zygote, basal part, that is. Okay, so meroblastic in nature, that is it develops from the basal part of zygote in case of your gymnosperm. Here polyembryony is also found due to fertilization of more than one egg or by the division of zygote. Polyembryony, many embryo. So polyembryony is also found due to fertilization of more than one egg or by the division of the zygote. But at maturity only one survives. Embryo survives. Now ovule develops to form seed, which then germinate to form a new sporophytic body, that new plant is formed after the seeds germinate. From where the seeds come? These ovules ripen to form your seeds. Seed actually in case of gymnosperm represents 3 stages or 3 phases in the life cycle of gymnosperms. What are those? Integument and nucellus of the ovule. You know that ovule later gives rise to seed. So we can say that the integument, that is the outer covering of the ovule, and the nucellus, that which is present inside the ovule, they represent the first sporophytic phase. Then the endosperm, which is nothing but the female gametophyte, is the gametophytic phase, and the embryo is the next sporophytic phase. So embryo is the next sporophytic phase. So what are the importance of gymnosperms? These are used as ornamental plants for beautification. Then some alkaloids like ephedrine is obtained from ephedra, which is used in the treatment of respiratory diseases. Seeds of Pinus gerardiana are edible, chilgoja we say. Then Cedrus deodara are used for furniture making. Pinus longifolia is used for extracting turpentine oil. So many, there is a lot of economic importance in case of gymnosperms. Now come to the life cycle of gymnosperm. We have drawn the life cycle of cycas. Okay, you know that cycas is dioecious. So separate male plant and female plants are present. So we have represented here as a separate male and separate female plant. Got it? So as far as your cycas is concerned, there is a male plant and a female plant. Male plant has male cone and female plant has female cone. Now inside the male cone there is presence of microsporangium, and inside the female strobilus we say there is megasporangium. Megasporangium has megaspore mother cell and microsporangium has microspore mother cell. Now meiosis occurs and megaspore mother cell gives rise to megaspores. I have already said that 4 megaspores are formed, out of which 3 degenerate and 1 towards the lower end remain functional. Got it? So megaspores are formed. Similarly, in case of microspore mother cell, microspores are formed. Now this is also haploid in nature, microspore mother cell, because reduction division has occurred in case of megaspore as well as microspore mother cell. Reduction division means meiosis. So megaspores give rise to what? Your inside megaspore gives to embryo sac, then inside the embryo sac you have got egg, archegonia, then egg. So microspores develop from antherozoids. Now antherozoids contain male nuclei. Now this male nuclei fuses with the egg by the process of fertilization. This is fertilization to give rise to oospore, which we said as zygote, and this zygote is diploid in nature. Look at this. This particular section is the haploid section. That is, here ploid is haploid. After fertilization, the ploid becomes diploid. That means union of 2 haploid nuclei takes place and the zygote is formed. That is oospore. Now the zygote develops to form embryo, and ultimately the embryo forms the seed. That is the ovule turns into seed, and the seed germinates to form a cycas male plant and cycas female plant. So we can say that there are two generations, sporophytic and gametophytic generation. Sporophytic generation is dominant and the plant body is a sporophyte, whereas the gametophytic generation is dependent on sporophyte and it is haploid in nature. So this is what your gymnosperm's life cycle. I hope this particular video would be helpful for you in understanding the gymnosperm's general characters of gymnosperms. Thank you.